We're going to go ahead and get started here. Thanks again for your time and joining us for another one of CustomScoop's tips and tricks sessions. We do record all of these sessions as well, so feel free to find these on our help site. Today's session is going to be on charting and alerting. I'm going to go through and tell you a little about how to build charts, how to create alerts, other in-depth features about charts. A couple housekeeping items first off. Just want to say thank you for joining us on these. We do want your input on these tips and tricks sessions. So if you have questions, if you have things you want us to see reviewed very deeply, please do send them into customercare@customscoop.com, or feel free to email them to me as well. We definitely want to know your topics. And more importantly, as a user of CustomScoop, if you've come up with something that you think is a great tip or trick, even if it's just a small little thing that we could just add in on one of our sessions, definitely share that information with us. We want to get the user group involved here. So today's session is going to be on charting and alerting. I'm going to go through and show you a little bit about that. First off, how to get to charts. So from your home screen, it's pretty easy here. We're just going to come over to the chart section. I'm going to walk you through how to create a chart, and then we're going to go through some of my favorite charts as well. Our charting system is extremely simple to use, but it's extremely powerful as well. You don't want to underestimate what you can do here. It's really as simple as, hey, what do I want to see, and how do I want to see it? So picking out a chart you'd like, and then what do I want to see? So different information types. Important things to note here too are things that you can chart are ratings, country, tag. Tag is a really important one too. I know a lot of times I'm trying to look at data and I think to myself, if I could just chart this against this, X against Y here, and I'll go through and I'll just tag X and I'll tag Y. In our help section you can find more on tagging. We've also done one of these tips and tricks sections on tagging. So that can be a really useful way to make sure you can construct that chart just the way you'd like. We can look at information types, states, source categories. Source type is a really big one. Languages. You can chart different saved searches. So what that means is, let's say you have a certain criteria set up. You can chart that criteria against another. Let me give you an example of that. So I have different saved searches that look at JetBlue flight experience and other company news. And then maybe I want to chart that against competitor news. And what's unique about these saved searches is it's been set up looking at just not everything, but specific data that I'd want to see from specific sources, from specific source types. And it might even be as simple as I just don't want to see tweets in this chart. So you can set up those saved searches and then chart one saved search against another. It's going to be a great way to do that. We can even get as granular as source or as headline here, which is pretty exciting. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to build a chart here and then walk you through some of my favorites. To create a chart is as simple as, what do you want? So I'd like to see a line chart. Then it's going to be as simple as, what do you want to see? So maybe I want to see daily clip totals. I think I do want to see that. So I'm going to look at daily clip totals for different keywords. Then we're going to come through and look at how far back do we want to go. Now a quick note here as well. On charts, you're able to chart back the length of your archive of your account. Different CustomScoop accounts have different archive lengths. Our standard is generally going to be 30 days, our professional is going to be 90 days, and our team edition is going to have a full year. If you'd like to be able to chart further, definitely talk to us at Customer Care or talk to me. We can adjust your archive length and make sure that you're able to see as far back as you'd like to see. If you're interested in what your archive is, you can also check under your account setup is going to show you your archive length down at the bottom. So I have a 2-year archive set up on this one. So we're going to go through and create a line chart, and on this one I'm going to go back a full year. I want to see my results from last October 1st until today. I'm then going to go through and specify what I want each line to be. So I'd like to see my flight experience results versus people talking about their TrueBlue program. Now we're going to come down here to the extras. Here we can give this chart a title. So we'll say yearly results. We can make it 3D. Can always be exciting. For a line chart, I'm going to go ahead and not make it 3D. We'll make another one later. We will. We can change from a number instead of a percentage. So if you prefer to see these as actual numbers instead of just percentages, sometimes this can be useful also in pie charts or bar charts, which we can go through. And then we can change the color scheme as well. So we have our custom scoop color scheme, of course. We have berry, we have chocolate, we have lots of different color schemes for you. We even have a semi-transparent one. We're just going to use the default custom scoop one here. And then you can adjust the tick mark intervals as well. So do we want to see it daily, weekly, monthly? We're just going to go ahead and stick with the defaults on this. Now we're going to have the option to save this chart. One thing we can do too is we can take a look at it before saving it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this chart, and then we'll come in and save it from there. So here we are. We've got our results here. We can take a look at this and we can decide if we should then save this chart from here. Other exciting features we're going to have here, we can show and hide the data table. So maybe you want to see the data around this chart. We can show that, and it's going to show you, here's our counts across. We can export this to a PDF, so maybe we like this chart. Another thing we could do too is we could even just save the image of this. So I know a lot of times people are using CustomScoop to put together PowerPoints or put together reports, especially around year end. So it's a great way you can do that here. We can reorder the criteria, which we'll see more useful with bigger charts. We can edit this chart, and again we can save it and say yearly results. We could email this off, and we could view the results. So viewing the charted results is exciting. We can see all these results around this. But maybe we want to see other things. Like, why is there such a big spike in people talking about flight experience, even recently? 569 hits that day. And so we can click right on it. All these charts are going to be interactive. They'll take you right to that set of results. And we can take a look at those. I'm going to jump in and show you some of my favorite charts here as well. So right here we're going to create a chart, bloggers flight experience. So what we're going to look at here, we are going to create a bar chart looking by source. So show me over the last 2 weeks the top 10 sources talking about flight experience. So we're going to come in here too. We can make it 3D. We can give it a title. Here we can turn up and down the amount of 3D. This is a really cool feature. So we can decide how 3D we want it. Let's go ahead and show numbers instead of percentages. I really do just like the way the custom scoop colors render, so we're going to leave it there. And then down here is where it's going to get pretty important. So we can limit these things as well. We're going to come in and we're going to say, I only care about the flight experience keyword. We're going to leave the tagging alone, but this is where we could limit it to certain tagged results. We could change it to rating. So I only want to see if people are talking about positive, neutral, negative ratings. Another quick note on ratings as well here. We do have manual ratings within the system. It's easy to do. You could change it. We also have automated sentiment available. So if you'd like CustomScoop software to take its best guess at if it's a positive mention, a neutral mention, or a negative mention, we can turn that feature on for you. Just again, feel free to contact us at customer care at customscoop.com, or you can feel free to contact me and we can get that turned on for you. We even offer free trials on that. We can look at results by state, so we can limit it by state, by country, or by language here. One thing that we are going to limit on this is source type. So if I ran this chart by everything, so show me everything, what I'm really going to see is I've got a bunch of tweets, because Twitter is a source type. I probably have a bunch of Facebook hits. So in this, we might want to look at just what sources we care about those top 10 results. In this case, I'm going to look at just blogs. We also have info type, and we have special here as well for you. So now we can go ahead and run this chart. And so this is a great chart. So this is who is talking about us the most. over at JetBlue for their flight experience over the last 2 weeks. You can see the Cranky Flyer has put out 7 articles. Worldwide Airlines, same thing. And we can jump in, we can look at these. We can say, oh, I didn't realize that Just for Airlines had written 6 articles about us. We can jump in and take a look at those. So this can be a really great chart to start to look at some of these mentions. Again, we can show and hide the data table. Be a little more useful here. Reordering the criteria can be more useful here as well. So maybe we want to see Just for Airlines at the top. We can bring them up or we can bring them down. We can edit this chart on the fly as well. So we can come in here and edit. So maybe we want to see not only just blogs, but we want to see blogs as well as college publications. So we can just add that to it and then remake that chart right there. And then again, we could view all the charted results, or we could email this off. Let's talk a little bit about working with some of these charts as well. So right here, we're going to be able to edit our charts, or we have our actionable cog here, where we can email off this chart, we can preview the chart, we can make a PDF of the chart, or we can schedule the chart. I'm going to get into scheduling charts in quite some detail in a minute here, but I just want to make sure you saw how to use this cog. Other great charts that we can look at. So we looked at a daily results line chart before. We can look at a ratings chart. This is a really interesting one. So show me ratings for the different JetBlue keywords. So again, we're limiting this one to just look at JetBlue's keywords because we do have other keywords set up in this account and the rating around that. So you see we have the positive, the neutral, the negative. We also see this positive JetBlue. It's important to know that our rating system is completely customizable. So I've added this 4th category, which you're welcome to do as well. So in this one, we're looking at results that are overwhelmingly positive about JetBlue are going to show up in this positive JetBlue category. We can also use the automated sentiment to do that as well, and I do have that programmed here. So what it's looking at is if the word JetBlue is overwhelmingly seen as positive, to mark it as positive JetBlue, or if it mentions JetBlue and one of the competitors in the same mention, and the competitor is seen as overwhelmingly negative, that's also going to be positive JetBlue. And this is interactive. We can click and look at these results as well. And hopping back to our charts here. Other great charts we can look at breakdown by source type. So show me the news by source type. Are we seeing a lot of social media? Are we seeing a lot of broadcast? Are we seeing a lot of daily newspaper hits? So we can break it down that way for us. And again, we can look at that data table, see the supporting data. Other great charts, we can look at maps. So we can look at a map of where this news is coming from. This is going to be interactive as well. We can see right here in mass we're pulling a lot of news. We can click and see what were those results. We can even look at this map globally. Other great charts here. So here's a good chart. So here we're looking at ratings for tagged results. So we're looking at a pie chart over the last 7 days. This is using a lot of limiting. So I only want to see what's positive, neutral, or negative. If it's positive JetBlue, we're leaving it out. And I only want to see results that have been tagged. So I'm preparing reports, and you can learn a lot more about our reporting, especially by looking back at some of these sessions. But only the ones that have been tagged. Go ahead and run the sentiment across that and give me a chart showing that. Oh, that's right, this is a bar chart. A stacked bar chart. So you can see we have a lot of great charts we can put together. A lot of times it's great to think about some of the charts you might want. If you ever think about a chart that you really want to see and you're having trouble figuring out how to construct it, you can always feel free to contact customer care. We even have our live chat available here where you can chat with someone and get some assistance in creating the chart that you need. Also, if you come to our help and training section, we can learn more on these charts as well. So coming down here, there's going to be a lot of information on how to create charts. There's even another video walkthrough. This is a really useful section. If you haven't been to it, I highly recommend you go to the CustomScoop help and training section. A lot to learn there. Now, along with charts, this isn't really a chart, but I thought this would be useful. Sometimes it might be useful to just push some of this information out to Excel. And by pushing some of this information out to Excel, you might be more comfortable building charts in Excel with that. So I thought I'd cover that to make sure everyone knew how to do that. Really, the easiest way to do that would be to come in to build a search. And we might say, show me for the last 7 days all my results for people talking about delayed flights and their flight experience. We're going to keep this simple. And then let's save this. So let's say sample for Excel. So now we can come in and we can look at those results first if we'd like. So there's a few different ways we can run an Excel sheet here. One is going to be, we're looking at these results. And then we can come in and just hit this Excel icon here. We're going to hit the Excel icon, and we can just run a default, or we can customize what we'd like to see here. So maybe I don't need to see the source type. Maybe I do want to see, the headline. Maybe I only want to see the headline. So we can pull out headline. This is going to be an interactive link headline. And then once we have this all together, we can go ahead and create that spreadsheet. It's going to generate it for us. So right here, we can come in and look at this Excel sheet. So we'll be able to go right from the Excel sheet to the actual article here. And here it is exactly how we asked for. So we can run sums off of this, we can manipulate it, we can run charts, and again, the headlines are all going to work. Another way we could have gotten to that Excel sheet is since we saved this search, we could come in and we can just say, I want to see the spreadsheet, and it's going to run it for us. Now going back to those results as we were looking at them, there's another chart I want to mention as well, Simple Chart. Simple Chart is one of my favorite features in the product here. What Simple Chart is going to do is just going to give us a quick visual of what we're looking at. So here it's just by day, but we can come over here and we can say, I'd like to see this by source type. So we're looking at this data, and really there's a lot of tweets around it. What's nice is you can work within this as well. So maybe you want to say, that's all great data. I really want to put all of that data, on my weekly report, and we can tag right from here. You might come in and say, I want to look at this by state. You could even look at this by headline or even by source. So show me all the sources that are talking about us over the last 2 weeks, and you can do things like alphabetize them. So maybe you were looking for that one story from a certain source. This is a great way to get to it. Within this charting view as well, you can come through and you can edit things. So maybe I want to see the whole month, not just the last 7 days. Maybe I want to see an addition of that true blue keyword. And so you can do that right here. And so this is a really great function, really great chart. It's heavily used by me and most other users as well. It's just a really quick way. 4,000 results is going to be kind of hard to analyze quickly. But if we pop it in here, we can say out of those 4,000, really it's just a lot of them that are tweets. And we can kind of start to conquer the rest around here and slice and dice it that way. In the simple chart as well, you're going to be able to turn the data table on and off, so you can see the supporting data here as well. Now going back to the charts tab, we're going to talk about some of the actions around this. So from a chart, you're able to do quite a few things. Again, we can email it off, but then also we can schedule it. Scheduling, it's a great concept. So let's go ahead and schedule this chart. This is really just popping us into the alerts page. So I'm going to go ahead and come schedule one here, then we'll go to the alerts tab and do it there. But maybe I like this chart so much that I want to see it every week. It's just as simple as where do I want it to go. So I'm just going to send it to myself. We can change where it's coming from. And we can put a subject for the email. So call it blogger chart. And right there, since we've scheduled it from here, it already knows what we're trying to send out. So it's going to autofill for you the blogger's flight experience chart. We can send it as either an HTML email or as an attachment, a PDF attachment. And then how often do we want to see that? I'd like to see that weekly. starting, let's go with Friday. Just send that to me right at 4 p.m. on Friday. I want to see who talked about us for the last couple of weeks. And that's it. So the other way we could have done that is from the Alerts tab. And that's the next section I want to cover here. So from the Alerts tab, this is going to be a very quick section. It's really as simple as what we just walked through. What do you want to see? Where do you want it to go? So send me we'll send another chart out here. And so here we can come through. Actually, what we'll do is we'll send an Excel sheet. Here we're going to come through and we can say, all right, we made that saved search before. We call this sample for Excel. And so I would like to see that Excel sheet either in CSV or XLS format, and let's send that out to me weekly as well. You'll notice here too there's a send even without results. So for something like JetBlue, we're always going to have results. For some companies, they might not have news, especially if you're looking at things daily or hourly. So they might not have news that hour, they might not have news that day, but you still want our system to send you something. So by default, if we don't see results, we're not going to email you. But if you'd like us to anyway, if you'd like to see that empty mail, you can check that off here. And that's going to be how we're going to schedule these out. I personally use a lot of alerts in my account, and I have multiple accounts too sending different alerts. So I like to see sometimes even my custom reports and alerts. So really anything that you can create, any content you can create in CustomScoop, you can automate through our alerting system. So I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. We'd love to hear your feedback on this as well as some of our other tips and tricks sessions. And if you have any further questions or comments, please feel free to send them to customercare@customscoop.com. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great day.